So last week, I decided to buy Bookmap in hopes of it being able to help me get my first ever payout and improve my trading. And you probably clicked on this video for one of these two reasons. One, you either don't know what Bookmap is at all and you kind of want to learn more about it, or two, you already know what Bookmap is or probably have already tried it and you're just kind of curious to see how I plan on using it moving forward. Either way, in this video, we'll cover both of these points, but we'll first start by talking about what Bookmap is and what it's supposed to show you. And then we'll go over how to set it up so you can get it running on your computer. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about exactly how I plan to use it moving forward. If you're new here, hi, my name is Shane Gab. I've been day trading futures for 2 years now, and I've yet to make a single dollar from it. But this year, I'm looking to change all of that. This year, my goal is to go from $0 in payouts to $73,000 in payouts. Now, 73,000 is a very specific number, you may ask. The reason why is because 73,000, which I've already said 3 times, will be 30% higher than what I make at my current job right now. But there's a catch. My goal is to make this money in payouts without spending over $10,000 in expenses with prop firms. So, if you would like to find out whether trading prop firms can actually replace your salary, subscribe, because that's what I'm here to do. So now that we're acquainted, let's talk about what Bookmap is supposed to show you. Oh, Bookmap really is just a platform that's supposed to show you market liquidity, the actual market liquidity. If you don't know what market liquidity is, it's just basically the limit orders that are sitting. Well, it's more than just limit orders, but Bookmap just shows you the limit orders that are sitting on the depth of market. The depth of market is called a DOM. Don't worry, I'm going to show you visual versions of everything that I'm talking about here. But the depth of market shows limit orders sitting at certain levels, and Bookmap just takes those limit orders and puts it on a chart in a heat map-like version. So I'm going to show you what it actually looks like so you get a look at it, but I can't show you the actual thing because it's Sunday and markets is closed right now, so Bookmap doesn't work. So I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like from a screen recording from an old trading session. Don't worry about anything on this left-hand side because this left-hand side is not Bookmap, this right-hand side is. Also, I should probably state this, Bookmap is not sponsoring this video. This is actually my opinion from actually using it from a consumer side. I will always let you know beforehand if it's a sponsored video or not. But even if it's a sponsored video, I'm still gonna give my authentic review on it because that's just not who I am as a person. However, let's look at this. Okay, so this right here is Bookmap. So right here, the COB. Basically, this is the depth of market. This is the order book. This is where it shows where limit orders are sitting at certain price levels. So as you can see, how Bookmap kind of visualize it is the less orders, the colder it is, right? So for example, 16 to 20 is colored blue. And you can change the shaded color right over here. You can change it to whatever you, well, not whatever you want, but you could change it to, from, I think, this type of format, this type of heat map to like black and white. As it gets hotter, right? So we come here to almost 30, you start to see it goes to yellow. And then here's a really good example. We're at like 52 here. This is at orange. And then you see right here, we're at 109, 109, right? These are red, right? So it just takes the orders that are on the depth of market or the COB and just visualize them on your chart. Your real use case for Bookmap would be if you're trying to use order flow to make trading decisions. In that case, you would want to know where certain limit orders are resting, and you can use them for whatever strategy or theory you have in mind. I don't feel like I need to talk too much about like anything else when it comes to Bookmap, because honestly, this was built just to show you market liquidity. So it really just took the level 2 data that you have available and just plastered it on your charts. Now you can get this with pretty much a few other charting platforms. For example, I know Quantower has their own, and that's something I might look at. I know that there's some other new ones that are coming out like deep charts and stuff like that. But Bookmap has been the tried and true like staple when it comes to heat map level 2 data. So I would recommend like if you're looking to get into looking at like level 2 data on heat map, on like a heat map visualization type of thing, probably start with Bookmap to just get the foundation, and then you can, you know, test and experiment with all these other platforms because honestly, they're all built off of like one thing. So now that we discussed what Bookmap is, we have a simple definition to help us understand what Bookmap helps us see. Let's talk about how to set it up. Setup is fairly easy. You just go to bookmap.com. You'll go to this login portal, essentially, where you'll be able to just kind of download Bookmap. Now you could download it and try it for free, but like if you're trading futures, you're not, I'm gonna be honest with you, the free version is like not gonna do anything for you. You're gonna have to buy this in order to start testing it out and actually see how you could use it, because I don't even think you can use futures with the free version. So you select what system you're on, right? Whatever system it is, and you just hit download. I already downloaded it, so it's very simple. It walks you through how to download it. As far as the initial setup, majority of the times you're gonna stay in simulation mode because you're not gonna be trading from it unless you are. If you plan to put your orders on Bookmap, then you're gonna wanna go trading mode. If you want to back test, you're gonna wanna go replay mode. But like if you just want to just kind of view it side by side with whatever your charting platform is where you actually do take orders, you're gonna stay on simulation mode. Record live data, you want that on, and then you just hit okay, and it boots up like so. I'm gonna be messing up my layout here a little bit, but I'm gonna do it for you guys. As far as like, you're not gonna see anything because its markets is closed, but you can see kind of like, okay, cool, a little bit of orders here. This is where orders kind of rest and whatnot. And then like, all you want to do is you want to hit this plus button. If you have level 2 data, which we'll talk about a little bit more in like a few seconds, but if you have level 2 data, which you're going to need, you can just kind of, configure it here. And then, futures, CME is the exchange that we use as futures traders. And then you would just look for the asset that you trade. And then you could just leave this on this. These settings are pretty good. And then you just hit subscribe, and then it'll pull out a chart. So I'm already subscribed with it, so it's not gonna do it here. So let's talk about like costs, because that's very important. So Bookmap costs $49 a month. $49 a month, and then you have to buy level 2 data if you're a futures trader and you want to see the orders or limit orders. You have to buy level 2 data. In my honest opinion, Bookmap without level 2 data is practically fucking useless. Sorry for cursing again. Anyway, you gotta buy level 2 data. So level 2 data, I just bought it with Bookmap just to make it easy. Level 2 data with Bookmap is $34. So all in, we're about $84 total per month. Keep that in mind. So for your first month, what I recommend, set aside $84 just to try it out, right? For your first month, pair it side by side while you're trading. What I will say though, is do not, when you first use Bookmap, make the same mistake that I made. And that was start trading off of Bookmap like you have had 2 years of experience using Bookmap, because you haven't, right? Looking at these raging levels or these liquidity levels and making assumptions off of them and completely abandoning what has been working for you and what you have had the most experience with is a recipe for unprofitability. Take it from my personal experience. I've used Bookmap 3 times in my 2-year trading journey. The first 2 times I've always made that mistake. This time what I've done a little differently was just kind of record my session, and then after I don't even pay attention to it, kind of black out that part of my screen, and I trade like normal. And then after, I will review the film, and then I will try to make observations. So we covered what Bookmap is. We know that it's just basically a platform that shows market liquidity, and market liquidity just basically means limit orders at certain levels. We talked about how you can set it up. All you gotta do is go to bookmap.com, download it, and then you'd have to purchase the Bookmap subscription, which is just the global. I think we should go over that one more time. The global version right here. You don't, get the fuck out the way, sorry. You just need this global version right here. You don't need Global Plus. Digital Plus isn't gonna work for you. You need global. So global is $49 a month. And then we also covered that you're gonna need level 2 data. So you can go with Bookmap data, which is at $34 to $79. You should just go with the CME exchange, which would just be at $34 because that's what we trade as futures traders. And then last but not least, we now need to go over how I plan to use it moving forward. Now, I'm not gonna tell you how you should be using it because I don't know how you trade. I will be going over how I use it, and hopefully you can use the information to synthesize your own ideas of how you'll use Bookmap. There is one key observation I've made over these last 7 days that will be something that I'll be using in Bookmap for the next few months, or depending on however long I'm planning to use Bookmap. My underlying principle is always this. Whenever you add a new tool, a new trade management strategy, a new risk management strategy, like whenever you add something to your trading style, you always want to look at what the expected value of that thing is, right? So if I'm adding this, does it improve my chances or does it decrease my percentages, right? A really good way of how I'm looking at it is I'm looking at it pass rate with prop firms. Again, my goal is to get $73,000 in payouts. So I want to kind of optimize for these metrics a little bit more. And of course, I know optimizing for win rate will automatically optimize for that, but I'm just focusing on that for now. I'm comparing my pass rate between the last eight challenges that I took to the next 8 challenges that I'm going to take with this specific tool in my trading style. Mainly, there's one observation that I made over these last 7 days, and that is raging levels. So raging levels, I'll just kind of go back to the recording to show you again, but raging levels is essentially these red levels here. So these red levels here are essentially just where a lot of limit orders are sitting. And my theory, and of course they're all just theories, is that price actually kind of draws to these levels, given the fact that we have the proper amount of volume to actually travel the distance to these areas. So like right here, I think the red levels, they've been sitting here for a while, right? I'm pretty sure since the beginning of the session, they've kind of been sitting down there and we were talking about it. So like we're at 5 minutes into the film, like it's, I don't know what time, I can't say the time, like it's kind of cut off, but we're 5 minutes into the film and like they're all the way there. 7 minutes is still there. 8 minutes is still there. Damn near 15, we don't get filled until like 5 minutes later. But my theory is like these levels are attracted to. They're kind of like magnets. ICET traders have a term called draw on liquidity. That's a really good name to kind of call like these raging levels. I just call them raging levels because they're red and they remind me of rage. It's very, very simple. I'm a breakout trader. That means that I want to see breakouts that fly and give me some momentum behind them, some substance. And I'm planning to use these raging levels as either a draw on liquidity or a draw on price to kind of magnet price down to it. So if I have a breakout, like let's say here, knowing that there's raging levels at 250, 225, 220, this is a really good sign for me to want to take a breakout. So I'll use that, or I would just use them as levels that if we break out from, I could probably see that substance breakout that I like to see. So that's how I'm mainly using it for now. This right here on the side is called the volume profile. It's the current session profile. It's the same as this one right here. I have been using volume profile recently to make a new little kind of observation that could kind of help me out with my breakouts. However, I'm not going to go over that yet because it's not fully built. I don't have a rough draft yet. So I will go over it when I have a rough draft. But this is just basically how I'm using Bookmap so far moving forward. I'm using these raging levels as kind of draw on liquidities, if you want to call draw on prices. Prices will be more likely to come and visit them rather than like kind of these blue levels or whatnot. That's how I'm using it. And then like I'm using it in my breakouts to kind of determine like where I want to get in, where I want to get out. What breakouts might have some substance and what breakouts may not. Hope you guys learned something from this video and it was able to provide you just a little bit of value. Remember, my goal this year is to go from $0 in payouts to 73,000. So stay subscribed if you want to follow my journey. And you know my motto, be a problem solver. And I'll see you guys next time. Until the last time. Yeah, bro, video's over. There's no post-credit scene. I promise. I apologize, but that's staying in. See you guys next video.